Welcome to the Family Office, planning for the people who matter most.
A lot of what's happening right now, and it's very confusing for a lot of people, especially large groups or large generations, is that the world is changing so much now, more than it ever has. And it's not just changing in one area, it's changing in a lot of different areas. And I think one of those areas too is just how people get information now. I mean, think about it. Everybody's a reporter. Everybody's a journalist. There's a camera everywhere. But I mean, do you even watch the regular TV anymore? Do you watch? I mean, do people watch regular radio? Like, because is traditional news dying because people would rather get their news from personalities on the internet now, like the Rubin Report or Dave Ramsey or any of the people that you see all over the place, or even, because now you see a lot of mainstream journalists that either whether they got ousted during the COVID weirdness or the woke weirdness, or they just left, but they're all killing it or crushing it. They all progress now to YouTubes and channels or their own platforms. Is that now the new medium where you can tune into anyone now and watch? I mean, somebody could tune in and listen to us talking. Like, is that the new thing, Len? Do you think that legacy media and legacy news and legacy TV is fast ceasing to exist the way we knew it?
I think traditional legacy media is dying a slow, death that's going to happen inevitably. And when you see different personalities leave the Foxes and the CNNs and all of the mainstream media outlets and start their own podcast and blow up, it's because people buy individuals they know, they like, and they trust. And when you work for a corporation, you're aligned with the beliefs, values, and assumptions of the corporation. When you break out and you don't have any of those other parameters, now we can trust what you're saying because now you have no corporate interest. And so now the market becomes your interest. So then the risk one runs is not to speak to their community just based on what they want to hear. See, that's also difficult because a lot of people, they go and they leave those mainstream media channels, but then they go and they pander to their audience because they're just feeding them what they want to hear. So I think the next wave, so I believe that, one, to answer your question, legacy media is dying. Two, large personalities are capitulating to their crowd. I think the third wave is where you have people who are saying, you know what, I'm going to stand on principle. If I'm telling the truth, then you align with me. If I'm telling a truth or something that I was ignorant about, call me out. And then now the crowd begins to see, how do you respond to being called out when you say something that's not true? And so then I think those types of people will become the large media figureheads because they're independent journalists. They're able to speak the truth and they're not pandering, and their ultimate guide is to seek truth. And I believe that at time, I think it's going to take a while, but I think those are going to be the individuals that are going to be that next rock star as it relates to news and like contemporary topics to talk about.
The only thing that worries me about situation like that is that what's the level of accountability at this point? Does somebody become so popular and too popular that they become a virtuous, right? I mean, because I mean, in the case of, like, for example, Fox News. Well, the good thing about Fox News is that, or the bad thing about Fox News is that it can become, a clique, right? It can become a gang, and it can push a narrative like we saw with CNN and CNBC and BBC and all those guys. They all rallied and pushed the same narrative. But at the same time, that also has a level of accountability for the personality that gets big there, right? And we saw that happen too, where big personalities got fired or got caught loose because either they violated, a principle, or they weren't honest, or whatever it is. You don't really have that unless it's the court of public opinion. And you could probably argue this point really well, Len. There's a lot of people that don't like Donald Trump, but there's a lot of people that like Donald Trump regardless of what he does, and they'll fall on the sword for him. So at what point does somebody, or can someone in this era become so popular or become so entertaining or whatever you want to call it, that they can then have a lot of power where there's just no accountability, right? I mean, aside from the fact that, you know, you can censor, but then you have First Amendment rights. I mean, dang, it looks kind of crazy there. I mean, it is the frontier, but people I think have to be more astute and have to be more independent in their research now than they ever have been.
And that's where I was going to go with it, because, you know, to me, at the end of the day, the more polarizing a figure is, you're going to have extremes that you're attracting, right? Meaning, like a Donald Trump, very, very polarizing. So the people who love him, he could go and, do some type of crime, and there's going to be somebody within that group that says,
say crime.
he's only indicted for 34 cases.
Come on, Len. We all know it's BS, dude.
Bro, I just throw it out there just like you do with Gavin Newsom.
I get you.
So anyway, so all I'm saying is this, is that the more polarizing a figure is, they're going to attract people that say they can do no wrong. And then you're going to find that same person that's going to attract a group of people that says they can do no right. And I think that comes on us as a community of thinkers to think of on our own and independently, so that people, regardless of who they are, is not always right and they're not always wrong. And as much as I'd like to throw jabs at Trump towards you, he's not always wrong. He's just wrong a lot. But the point is that I try to give him the benefit of the doubt, just like anybody else, which is, you judge somebody by the merits of what they say and what they do. And from that, just because they're one person doesn't make them infallible, and it doesn't make them all fallible. Nobody is that polarizing. So to me, to come back to your original question, as media starts to transition into different spaces, we as a viewing audience need to make sure that we're very critical about how we think and process the information we're receiving. And then we can vote with our views, because attention is the new currency. And if we divert our attention somewhere else because they give better information, then that's going to ultimately be what people compete around, as opposed to corporate interest or just a group of mindless sheeple that follow just because it's a personality cult.
It's always a pleasure, sir. You have a phenomenal week.
Likewise.
Again,
likewise.
For those who out there like this content, like and subscribe, follow us. We'd love to hear from you. Comment, and we'll see you on the next one. Len, have a killer week.
Thank you,
and
brother.
Everyone else out there, stay classy, stay safe, and just don't believe the hype, and stay close to your family, because everything's gonna be all right. God bless you guys. Thanks, Len.
All right. Take care, Chris.
Bye.
Conversation has given you clarity on your next steps. Please share this episode with someone who's walking the same path. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss future episodes. And remember, planning ahead isn't just prudent, it's an act of care. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on The Family Office.